Hello everyone, this is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping out today on Monday. So we had a ton of crazy sales. Mother's Day Sunday had lower amount of sales, which makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna just jump right into it. So the first thing is these three Warhammer 40K. These are metal Wraith figures. So the metal ones are gonna be like the older ones. I had someone sell me a Necron collection and they told me like the metals were more vintage. These end up selling for $45 plus shipping, which is really good. Everything's plus shipping. I think I paid like $5 or $10 a piece. I was kind of like iffy on how much I was spending on the collection. He was convinced they were good, but he doesn't like resell or do eBay. It was just kind of like, you know, in his mind as a Warhammer expert. All right, moving along, we have this right here. This is a new, it still has the tag right here. This is a Rooster like floor rug. Really cool rug. Anetta grabbed this one. I didn't want to grab it at first, but then she ended up just saying like, no, we're going to get it. This will sell. It took about like a year or so. We went to a thrift store out of nowhere. Like I said, like a year ago, she looked up like a mom and pop thrift store that had some good reviews. We wanted to see if we still had it. We haven't done thrift stores too much recently, even though I don't know where to put this. Anetta, can you help me real quick? All right, this one right here. Really cool rug. She can't grab it. It's pretty big. So yeah, I just don't like to deal with big items like that. That's why I want to pick it up. But it sold for $23.99. I think she spent $7 or $8 on it. So like a pretty decent flip. It's nothing like too crazy. But yeah, it's a really cool rug. I took like a good picture. So I think that's why I eventually sold. It's just they have to pay a lot for the shipping, right? Because the dimensions and the weight. All right, next up is going to be, oh, sorry, I didn't finish the story. Went to the thrift store. We wanted to see if we still had it. We didn't find anything too crazy. I think that brings us into the profit, but I think we also got some food then. So we're probably still like, I don't know, at cost, and then got to do something for like 4 or 5 hours. All right, next up is going to be this custom The Great War board game. This is a card holder. So a lot of people did these. I think they're like laser etched wood little projects, and they do a lot of them for board games. It just set the person set up here what it is. So this is gonna be something that you set up on the ground here and you put cards in. That's something that I wouldn't like in the past. I haven't played a board game with anything like that recently, but it's something I'm like intrigued by now, just to be able to see everything without always having your hands on the cards. But that's kind of like the fun part, to kinetically be touching the cards as you're playing these games. So yeah, this one I'm selling for $12. Pretty cool, like custom thing. I didn't like laser etch that, but I know that's something people like. We got some custom laser etched Gloomhaven character trays that Anetta ordered, I think on Etsy many years ago when we were playing Gloomhaven, and then they did like all this varnish and stuff on the wooden thing. It was really cool. All right, I'm rambling, but next up is going to be Memoir 44. These are like a bunch of different bits and pieces. This person actually knew everything that I had. I got a bunch of like incomplete stuff. It took me like a whole day. Excuse me, I'm talking too fast, to organize everything and then to categorize them, because I know what Memoir 44 is, but there's a bunch of expansions. I basically got all these in a bag. It was like best of luck. So these are 69 of the command cards, action cards. That's how the game plays. You play these cards and they tell you where and how many troops get to act. These are going to be 44 winter tiles. So you're going to have a bunch of these different tiles that denote like shrubs and buildings and objectives. We have this, I think this is from an expansion, 143 different tiles, tokens. These are like victory point tokens, crossroads, rivers, train tracks, and then 30 of these smaller tokens from like an Eastern expansion. So yeah, it's a really cool game. I got to play a little bit with my dad many years ago, just like the base game. We played like 4 of the first 12 scenarios. So all of these went for $57. This is a repeat buyer. They bought the other Memoir 44 stuff I have, and then I think I only have one thing left. I might have some more and all like my bits and pieces to go through, but I have to like come across them when I do. All right, next up is going to be a reusable bag. I do like to list these things if they have good brands and stuff. They're nothing too crazy. I just don't like throwing away stuff when like you get stuff with baggies, right? So like you can get them anywhere, honestly, and then people also have them and they don't want them. And then I use a bunch of reusable bags when I'm carrying stuff to and from the storage unit into the post office. This is Miel. I'm not too sure like what clothing brand this is, but someone figured out it's a really nice one. It's like one of those tote bags, $8.40. All right, next up is going to be a Star Wars Young Jedi foil card, Mohonix. It's like a pod racer thing. I never was into like the pod racer game that people like to think is for like N64 or something like that. This one is a foil card. Got a bunch of these right here. I find a good amount of the Young Jedi stuff. I think the foils are the ones that do like better for me when I list them individually. And then there's like a little crease down here. Nothing too crazy. I did picture it, so hopefully they saw it. This went for $5.99. All right, next up is going to be a combo order. This was 3 lots of the GHQ stuff. I did not know how to identify them, so I did all of the same type of like bases. So these are the holes right here for tanks. You probably can't see them. So there's 1 lot of the holes for one type of tank. There's more of the holes for another type of tank, and these are a bunch of turrets. But yeah, like you guys can't see them because I already have them wrapped up. I have like labels so I know which ones to grab. These sold for $44.97. People like the World War II micro armor, GHQ, CNC stuff. We get that stuff all the time. And speaking of miniatures, there's another combo order. These are Phantassin, I think, miniatures. This one's labeled DN09 right here. These just look like rifle infantry. I'm not too sure like what's like race they are. These are Phantassin miniatures. These are ENC 05. I see some horses right over there and some like guys with some hats and some muskets. And then they also got this Phantassin miniatures DN10. These are just the denotions right here. Sometimes I have trouble just finding like the actual like what they are, you know, like what type of soldier and stuff like that. So I'll just use generic keywords. So I'll put like, you know, cavalry. I'll mention what type of gun I think they have. And they do end up selling. If I can find them and label them better, it does better. But it's the best I can do when I get a bunch of this stuff right now. This ended up going for $32. Really cool, selling a bunch of miniatures. I was actually going to list miniatures today because I haven't listed any in a while, and then I noticed a good amount were selling. All right, moving along, we have some sci-fi bases. So these are 10 little miniature bases. These are like a plastic one. They have like these little like indents and like pipes on the bottom. So when you put your miniature on it and paint the miniature, you can also paint the little like pipes and stuff, the details on the bottom. People like that stuff. I did not know what game these went to at the time. But then later on, I ended up getting these. So I labeled these sci-fi because that's what they look like. And then I got something from Cool Miniatures or Not, some Sedition Wars figures. And I noticed some of the figures had some of these bases. I had already listed these a long time ago before I ran into the Sedition Wars stuff. So this is probably goes to Sedition Wars, or they'll just use it for whatever miniature game they want. This one for $11.47. All right, moving along is also a really different one than I usually sell. Where is it? Can I find it real quick? All right, it's going to be this. Someone bought a unused Hallmark card. It's a Darth Vader one, like the Force is strong with this one type of thing. It still has the envelope. Nothing's written on it. I had another one, so I already relisted it. Someone gave me a bunch of free, like, I think these are like 2023 or 2022, 2024, something like that. Some really recent Hallmark cards unused. This is the first one I sold, one for $8.99. The person has like a game in their name, so maybe they just like it as a cool little piece. I don't know if they're actually going to use it as like a type of greeting card that it is. All right. Next up is going to be this RPG Earth Dawn. This is like a Game Master's kit pack right here. Really cool art on the front. It has like this altar and steps going up, and it has like this like bird beast statue right here. Role player people like to grab all like the Game Master screens, and then these end up coming with adventures or just extra tokens, cards, stuff like that. So this one's sealed. This one for $41.24. We weren't recording when we got like a big RPG haul, but we're still selling the role-playing game stuff like to this day. So it's been great. A lot of it has sold, and we still have like a little bit listed. A little bit listed. I don't think I have any more to list right now. All right, moving along. Really cool thing. I have a couple of these that I collected myself. These are World of Warcraft miniature game by Cryptozoic, I believe it was, also with Blizzard. So it's going to be 4 of the elemental figures. So you can get alliance figures. These have rarities. You get the horde figures, and then they had monsters or creeps. I forgot what they call them. So I lotted up. I got a big bag of the monsters, so I lotted them up by like the like type. I played too many years of World of Warcraft. I was a day oneer. Probably played for 3 or 4 years. So yeah, I knew how to like lot them up by like their type. So yeah, Fire Elemental. These are like the Void Wardens it's been a while, from the Warlock. And then the Bog Elemental is in like the different marshlands and stuff. $18 for these. They don't have their cards. They don't have their powers or abilities, and they don't have their health dials. The health dials are common for those, so it doesn't matter for the person. I just pictured it as such. All right, next up is going to be this right here. We have this map, a TSR map right here. This is a Ravenloft one. This is going to be from 1990. Really cool map. I don't want to take it out because these older maps, they can be delicate. I don't want to like put more wear on like the edges by unfolding it out, but very colorful one. Ravenloft is going to be like the vampire-ish type of world. People like that one. All right, next up. Oh, Netta, can you check the recording real quick? All right, next up. Sorry. I just want to make sure that the recording doesn't go down. It goes down sometimes. All right, next up is going to be these right here. It's going to be Gundam War cards. There's going to be a bunch of different foils. This is a huge combo order, so I'm just going to like, I go through real quick. GOG, I don't know anything about Gundam, but I've been selling much of these. Side 3, we got UQ right here. We have this one is Gedlav right here. These are all foil, commons, uncommons, rares. Zaku number 2. I'm not going to go through the rest. It's just going to take too much time. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I was going to do it, so bunch of these foil cards end up selling for $187.36. That's pretty wild. I still have like 20 or so foils listed, and I only have one lot listed from like the bulk that I got. So yeah, that's crazy. That's like the best, kind of like the best card game other than Overpower that I've sold before. All right, moving along, we have this War Gods of Egyptius, Alcibiades, Spartan Strategos. My tongue is like tripping over this thing. I probably butchered it. $18.74. This one was interesting because I never heard of this game before. There was a bunch of these individual figures that went up on auction. No one was bidding on them, so I was the only one bidding on them, getting them for like $2, $3, $4, or $5, whatever the minimum bid was. And I've been selling them at like a slow pace. It just must be a really niche miniature game. So yeah, that one, $18.74. All right, next up is going to be this lamp right here. It's a ducky lamp. Annetta got a bunch of lamps a long time ago. This has kind of been in a box and kind of in a box that shouldn't be a box in my storage unit. I thought I had another space on the shelf, so it was good that this sold from it. It's been there for a while. She did better with some of the other lamps, but really cool lamp. It works. She tested it, $15.19. It would need like a slight cleanup, but like other than that, it's pretty good and working. All right, next up is going to be some cool miniatures that are not Song of Ice and Fire. Where is that stuff? Where is it? Where did I put it? I have stuff all over the place. I try to stay organized, but when it's a lot of items, it's hard. I have to keep everything on the table. So cool miniatures or not, Song of Fire and Ice, right here, miniatures game. This is just a tray for the characters. So like one set of the characters are always on formations on trays. And then you have a bunch of different like cards and stuff to actually play the game. This is kind of just like a random lots of stuff I got from the starter set. Or not my starter set, but I got a collection, and I realized that this was all like the miscellaneous stuff that didn't pair up with anything. So yeah, someone's going to use this. Repeat buyer, $7.85. So it's cool. That's stuff that normally people would like toss or something like that. I'm like, someone's going to find like a use for something. Maybe it's just they like the tray itself. Who knows? All right, next up is going to be 3 of these Doctor Who miniatures. These are by Gale Force 9. We have the 4th Doctor, 11th Doctor, and I think 12th Doctor. I've never watched Doctor Who. I know Netta's watched a bunch, so she likes it. I'll occasionally catch like an episode or 2. It's pretty campy. These are for a board game. It's Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks, 5 to 6 player expansion. They had a bunch of 5 to 6 player expansions, and then each 5 to 6 player expansion had 2 doctors. So I had like a completely incomplete bunch. So someone might be using these just because they're cool Doctor Who miniatures, or they're trying to complete their little expansions, but it was a pretty incomplete, $11.99. All right, next up is a pretty interesting one. I got a bunch of like dead card game stuff. I mean, you guys see me get it all the time, but this dead card game stuff was from a long time ago. This is a set of 5 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of Ooze. This is like 5 movie like pre-release cards or something. So maybe you had to go to like a theaters or something to get cards. I remember Pokemon did that with some of their cards. So yeah, this lot of 5 sold for $41. I had another set that I just relisted when I was there at the storage unit, and I also have sold some individual ones of that. So pretty cool. I don't know the full history on it, other than like on the back you can see it talks about like the theater and stuff like that, and it being a pre-release. All right, moving along, we have some counters. It's going to be, I'm still losing stuff right here, Modern War variants counters. So these are little chits and tokens right here. I got a bunch of these random loose like chits and tokens. This one was just labeled Modern War. So this is one of 2 things. The one thing is it might be for the Modern War magazine, and then these are going to be like extra little variant counters that you can use for the games, because they would come with games, I believe, in the Modern War magazines. Or this is just like a board game called Modern War, which is hard to look up when something has a generic name like that. And then this is going to be extra bits and pieces. So $18.74. I listed it recently. I don't think I saw any others out there, but I wasn't able to I wasn't fully sure how to look it up with such a generic keyword. All right. Next up is going to be this hardcore thing. This is going international, 15 millimeters. These are super cool. This is going to be little elves with bows, fantasy miniatures. Look really cool quality right here on the back. You probably can't see it, but yeah, people like to use these for different war games or different miniature games or for collecting or painting. $15.74. All right, moving along, we have this Versus system. This is a 2-player, actually, I think just 1-person deck right here. I had like 30 or 40 of these at some point. This is my second to last one, so I just relisted it. I've always been listing one at a time. This ended up selling for $8.44. I know I've gotten more for some of them, so that was really lucky when I got a bunch of those. Versus System is like a card game. It usually is like Marvel or DC. I haven't played it. People do like it, but I think there was also some like wrestling stuff, and there was like other DC stuff. I think the idea was supposed to be like a bunch of IPs versus System that you can battle against each other. But I think the Marvel one kind of got like the most popular, so that's the most that I see out in the wild. I do have some other stuff listed for that. All right, next up is this right here, Harry Potter. Oh, I wish I remember the owl's name. Is it Hedwig? Hedwig? Oh, I got it. Hedwig right here. It's a little baking pan, little kit. I don't know if the like food coloring dye is still good. It's still sealed. I have no idea where we got this. I think this was from like Anetta's mom or something, or maybe Anetta and she didn't want any more. This ended up selling for $8.40. Yeah, we sell all kinds of stuff on eBay. I will list whatever people give me. All right. Next up, this one was crazy to me because let me talk about it first. This is Watchmen HeroClix. This is like the full set right here. Let me see if I can. How does this open? It always has like a weird way to open. Sorry, give me a second. Let's see if I can figure it out real quick. Oh yeah, okay, sorry. It has like a magnetic latch right here. These are the cards for all the characters. So you get all of the characters for Watchmen. Super cool comic book. Read it back in the day. Really good one. Movie's great. So yeah, this is a really cool HeroClix piece. I remember this thing when I was into HeroClix. This was like super sought after. I remember like off the top of my head, it was like $100 item. That was many years ago. So when this went up at auction for $25, I got it for $25. And then when I got home, I actually didn't realize that it's like not worth as much, I guess, which is kind of crazy to me. Really cool like HeroClix thing that they have like the nice little fold out. Really cool collectible. So that went for $35.99. I think after like fees in the box and stuff, it's going to be either like a wash or it's like, I think it was like $7 or $8 in fees, or we're going to make like $2 on it. So at least I get my money back on a bad auction purchase. It's rare that I do a pretty bad one like that, but I was kind of shocked. But I do get the space back and someone's going to appreciate it. It's a really cool like thing. The figures are a lot of fun. They're not as strong as like current day figures, but still a really cool item. All right, next up is going to be a lot of 3 combo order. It's going to be Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon board game. Where's the third thing? So we own this game. We haven't played it yet. It looks really cool. It's a story-driven game. You pick a character, and then you have like a bunch of kind of like areas to explore. There's a bunch of reading, so it's a lot of cool lore and stuff like that. Very adventurous, story-driven game. All right. So this is going to be one of their little art books or almanacs right here. So that there was a bunch of there was a Kickstarter for this. You get a bunch of extras if you paid extra. So this, let me see the price total. All right, it was about $35 for all 3 of this stuff. So the almanac right here, hardcover art book, some more art and stuff that you can get with the game. So people do like getting everything for these board games. And then these are just like a bunch of miscellaneous like tokens and stuff. So maybe they just want more or something. So they obviously like Tainted Grail because they got my 2 art books and they bought like my loose thing of little tokens for the game. Some of these are actually like metal upgrade components. There's like extra dice. Maybe they want the specific dice because they're not normal D6. They're going to have like special symbols for the game. They end up spending about $35 for that. So that's pretty awesome. All right. Next up is going to be this right here, Raxon by Plaid Hat Games. This is missing the promos right here. The only thing I know about this is there is a popular Plaid Hat Games Dead of Winter, which is like a zombie survival game. You have like an encampment, you pick characters, you're trying to survive with everyone else, but then everyone has like hidden goals, so someone might want to eat more of the supplies and stuff like that. This is like, I think, their smaller, cheaper version of the game. That was like how someone else explained it to me many years ago. It's not going to be as long as grindy as Dead of Winter, same company, sold for $10.12. I've had that one for bits. I was lucky that someone reached out to me for this one like a year ago, and they were like, hey, does this have the promos? Because I put complete as this thing. I didn't realize it was supposed to have promos. The promos were not in like the instruction booklet as part of the components. And then I looked it up. I dug into it because I don't always take people's word for it. I do want to like look up stuff myself when someone says something. There's a lot of times people are wrong about stuff that they think they're right on. I did realize there was supposed to be promos, and then I changed my listing to no promos, but everything else is complete. And then the person who wanted the promos didn't buy it, but they helped me out. So yeah, crazy story there. All right. Last up for the day, finally, is these Napoleonic Prussian warlord games, like little miniatures right here on their sprues. They have like these little like rifle muskets type of things. All right, yeah, this ended up selling for $14.99. I sell a bunch of miniatures on those sprues all the time. It actually just had like the label on like one of the sides there. All right, I'm out of breath. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one. Drama.